Alright folks, good morning. Let me figure out what I'm doing today. Applesauce. So this is my second batch. And like I said, I've only made one batch of applesauce before, a couple of weeks ago. But I've been around this my whole life. And there's a couple of things that are just really important to coming out with good applesauce. Is number one here, a blend of apples. And I have two different sources, two different farmers, and I think in this one here, I think there's like a lot of wine saps, and I'm not really sure what else, but these are mostly good eating apples. These are all what I call seconds. I think today's politically correct term is a utility apple. Most of these would go for cider if I didn't get them. So great apples, and especially for eating. Over here, I got a lot more variety from another farmer, and this farmer knew what I was doing with these apples, and I got a mix, and that's really great. And I'm literally taking one apple from one box, one apple from another box, one apple from one box, one apple from another box to get my bucket here that I'm going to take inside and start working on. My favorite apple in here is Golden Delicious, but these are early season. I like the late season Golden Delicious. They really have a great flavor. So mix in your apples, especially some that you really like, and it's just like wine. You blend it to get what you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Get these cut up on the stove. And it's only like 7 o'clock in the morning, so I'm just getting moving here. But I want to get these cut up and on the stove, and I'll talk to you in a while. Alright, this is my second trip out here to the car to get another bucket of apples. And I just want to talk more about, from a recovery aspect of why I do this and why it's so important to me, and what I get out of it is I was brought up in, basically the 70s. I grew up, and my mother and my grandmother, they canned just out of a way of life, and my grandmother, probably a little bit of necessity, really coming out of the Depression. There were 6 kids in my family, so canning just took on a different mindset. I do this as a little bit of a hobby, but I do this out of responding to my inner nature of gathering the harvest and putting it up. And you don't go to the supermarket and buy apples for, I don't know how much it even costs, 89 cents, I don't know, $1 a pound. This bucket, this box, I did pay for. This box, my brother, he works in agriculture, and he's got a friend that has an orchard, and he got me this box of utility apples. And there's just something about gathering the abundance of nature that's provided to you, and you put it up. Just like the squirrels, they gather the nuts that Mother Nature provides. I'm not taking money, working a job, taking money and going buying this stuff and then putting it up. That's not the way it's, in my mind, it's supposed to be. So that's just something else I wanted to tell you. And just while I'm out here, I just want to show you my pear tree. I'm going to be putting some pears in this batch of apples. I like to, again, blend as much as I can. And this is an old pear tree. It's been around way longer than me. Pear trees live a long time. And so here's a pear tree. And every morning, every night, there goes one right now. There's a squirrel. Actually he's taking a walnut. That's okay. But every morning, every night, I come out here and I gather up these pears that drop on the ground. And later on, I'm going to be putting some of these into my batch. But I got to get out here every morning and every night before the deer and the squirrels get these. And then I let them sit on my porch. I put them in a bucket, cover it up, keep the flies and the bees away from them. There's a nice little crop of pears out here. I gathered these up last night. And so there's one. Ants and squirrels have already been working on it. I'll throw that one off to the side. There's another nice little pear. So it's really, my whole life I've always looked at this pear tree and say, oh, someday I got to do something with these pears, because they're a really old variety and they're not great to eat at all. But you let them ripen up and we're going to see how it is when I turn it into pear sauce and mix it in a little bit in with my applesauce. So here's my pear tree. Organic pears right out of my yard. Alright, gonna get back to work cutting up those apples. Alright, almost 8 o'clock. Got all 3 of my pots going here today. Just got them started. Got them on, put about a cup of water in the bottom. Get them started without scalding the bottom. And I'm gonna let these cook down, and then gonna add some more stuff to it. So I'll bring it back after they've cooked down real good. That'll be a while. Take a break. Alright, this is something else I've been wanting to do for a long time. These are the pears from the pear tree. These are an old-fashioned pear. You know, over years, decades, they I don't know what's the right word, you know, breed pears, all fruits, all vegetables, to be more desirable. These are not desirable pears for eating, but for putting into sauce, they're just fine. Not that I've ever done it before, but we're going to try it. So I'm putting them into my Carey that also has a pressure cook setting. So I filled it up as much as I can. And these are really tough, hard pears. That's why I'm doing this. And they also have a bit of kind of almost gritty taste to the skin. Old-fashioned pears are like that. Modern pears are not like that. So all the instructions told me to do is put the stuff in there. Don't overfill the Carey. Hit pressure cook. Hit time. From all my research, 12 minutes should be a great plenty. That's a loud noise, isn't it? And it says to start right off with the vent closed, and hit start. And once it gets up to temperature, it'll automatically start cooking down. And these pears should be cooked to death, and nice and soft, and hopefully not gritty. And then I'm going to run through the Squeezo. Okay, so I'll be back with you. Alright, I got all these pots going. It's amazing the difference in the pots of really how fast they get cooking and what they really do, just how they work. This pot is doing great. I got that one as a hand-me-down. Free pot, you know, and they got those, the bottoms are like triple layers. I forget what they're called, but it's just not a one-layer bottom. Really good for non-sticking, non-burning. This pot is part of a set that I've had forever. Just a little bit smaller pot than the other ones I got here, but it's really doing it. Maybe just because it's smaller, it's heating stuff up a lot quicker. I don't know, but you know, it's just how it handles food differently. This pot I borrowed from my sister, and it's just taking longer, and I think the same thing happened before. I guess it's just more product to cook down. I got the burner turned up a little bit higher, and it's definitely cooking down. It's also definitely taking a lot longer. So just it's just part of the process, knowing your equipment. All right, over here I got something I'm really excited about. At least probably 3 weeks ago, at least, I bought a bushel of pears or seconds, and I knew I wanted to use them for applesauce, but apples weren't really ready yet. So, in the spirit of blending stuff, these, I think maybe they're called Bartlett pears, I forget. These are just really good, sweet eating pear. Normally you see them at your grocery store, they're red. And I think they're going to add a real nice flavor to this process, to this batch here. And I'm going to go ahead and divide this up equally between the 3 pots that I got going. And everything that I do, I'm going to try to do it whatever I think is equal, because I got different amounts in each pot. Because when I get done, I want it to be fairly consistent. And I don't have one pot big enough to mix everything together in. So let me go ahead and get these pears in there. I got the other pears still going in here in the Carey, pressure cooking them. See how they turn out. So I'll keep her going and see how we do. 9:30. Alright, so these homegrown pears are done. Had them in the Carey, 12 minutes. And I stuck them with a fork and they are done. So I'm going to let them cool down real good so I can handle them. And just a little bit, I'm going to get the Squeezo set up and run through the Squeezo. See what I got. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, something else I'm doing a little different today is these pots, they boil down, and you see how much space there is there now. So I'm going to go ahead and cut up more apples and get this pot full. I'm jarring up all this applesauce in quart jars, so once I start canning, it'll go pretty quick. So I just don't want to waste all this space in the pots and all this time on the stove and not have full pots. Alright, so I'm going to cut up some more apples and get them cooking. Alright, so here's the pear sauce. I ran it through one time using the screen that you use for tomatoes and making applesauce, which worked fine. Only it came out too gritty. I can hear my mother. She tried making pear sauce and it came out too gritty. So I'm trying to run it back through a second time using a much finer screen. And this is a screen that you use when you're doing raspberries or blackberries. Sometimes got really small seeds and you want to get the seeds out. If I'd have used this the first time, I think I'd really be just fine. What I am getting out is perfectly good. This is my second pot, but it's taking forever to get this out. So I'm going to run this through and then I'll decide what I'm going to do with it. It's really not that good all by itself. I'd have to put sugar in it or add it to my applesauce or what I'm going to do. So not totally discouraged. I'm just going to have to do something different the next time. Alright, so that's it about the pears. Alright, it's almost 12 o'clock. I think I got this started around 8, I think. And everything is cooked down real nice. I'm just going to let this simmer a little bit more, I think. Especially these 2 pots. These are the ones that I added the apples to after it cooked down. I think that needs just a little more cooking. This one I did not add extra apples to after it cooked down. and it's just fine. So even these have really cooked down a lot, reduced, cooked a lot of water out of it since we started. So I'm just gonna let it keep reducing a little bit. That's how much pear sauce I got before I stopped. Cleaned up my pear sauce mess, so I'm all ready to go. And the applesauce is ready. Just another little while. Take a break, maybe have some lunch. I don't know. No rush. Remember, most important ingredient is what? Time. Alright, 12:45. You just turn these off. Seem to be pretty well reduced to me. I'll let them cool down a little bit before I run them through the Squeezo. Seem pretty consistent at the moment. So I'm gonna grab some lunch, let these cool down, and we'll get to work. Alright, I'm ready to get started using the old Squeezo. Last time I did this, I don't think I put it on camera, but I figured out the very first applesauce that comes out of there, before you really even start turning the handle, that juice is like the nectar of the gods. So I went ahead and loaded this hopper up, and I'm gonna go do an errand, and I'll probably be back in about an hour, I guess, not too long. And I'm just gonna let this sit here and drip and see how much of this really good apple juice. When I come back, I can have a nice little treat. I'll put it in the refrigerator, get it nice and cold, and have a nice little treat of, I guess it's probably apple cider is what it is. Alright, I'll see you in a bit. Alright, I just got back. That's how much cider I got out of there. And I'm just starting to use the Squeezo. One thing I realized last time I did this, it doesn't look like this really works very fast, but I think it really goes a lot faster than it looks like. Looks right here. I'm just getting it started and it's just starting to come out. Nice full hopper. I'll start pushing it down a little bit with the plunger. And see, it's bubbling out of there pretty good. Won't take too long to do this. Alright, I'll keep you posted what I'm doing. Alright, 4:30. Definitely going a little slower than I wanted, but got the old Squeezo doing its thing. I had to clean out that screen one time, just wasn't working good. Got this all made into applesauce, and to get things moving along here, I'm going to start processing jars while I'm still using the Squeezo. So I already have this set for low pressure and 20 minutes. Oh, I guess I gotta reset it again. Put this on exhaust. Alright, back to Squeezo. Alright, well, this is a lot noisier, but it's a whole lot faster.
I like it. So I want to show you, I finally got this machine working right. All day, this is what's been coming out of the end. And this is what's supposed to come out of the end. And right now, I'm just putting what came out of the end the first time, I'm putting it back through the second time. And it's getting enough seeds and parts of pits and whatever clogged up. And that's what makes this machine work. It gets all these little seeds clogged up there and makes all the applesauce push out there. So finally, I wasn't having good luck today, but finally now it's working right. And that's a sight for sore eyes right there. That's what's supposed to come out. So I'm going to finish it up. I got the second batch of jars in there. I can only do 3 jars at a time of these kind of quarts. So I got the second 3 in there. That's the pear sauce, and I mixed it half pear and half apple, and a little bit of cinnamon. That's all I put in it. And I think it's almost kind of hard to tell the difference between that and applesauce, but that's applesauce waiting to get jarred up. Alright, we're going to keep going here. See that? She's getting warmed up, getting ready to do this next batch. Alright, it's Sunday morning, and this is where I usually show you what I made yesterday. But I forgot to do that, so I'm going to show you now. What I've done is I've already put the applesauce away. Let me get back here. This is the space I already had. I already had this, my wife had this little curtain there, and I had old tools, and just it was a catch-all mess under there. So I built this shelf unit, and right there, that's all peach stuff I've been making, and down there, that's the applesauce. I wound up with 11 quarts, and I think about 6 pints of applesauce. So I got the little cupboard pretty well full, and now what my plan is, I want to keep all my fruit stuff over here, and my wife got all my lids and rings and stuff in here. So that's where it all wound up. So good day. Really pushed my system. Try to get too much done in one day when I made this. So I'm going to do another small batch today. That'll be another little video. Alright, thanks for watching.